A big thanks to the website building platform Zyro who have sponsored this episode. Oh my word. 2 sales videos in one weekend. We are celebrating 100,000 subscribers and thanks so much to all of you. Some of you commented that you would rather we didn't just randomly give away codes as it doesn't give everyone a fair chance. So we'll make sure we pick our winners from the comments down below of this video and we'll double up with a community post to make sure everyone gets their chance. This time we'll focus predominantly on the US side, but there'll be all region prices down below so you know if it's available in your region. What's on sale? Well, let's find out. Okay, let's start small and super cheap, and it's Squidlit, which is only 19 cents, or your regional equivalent if it's available. Just check the price down below. This is a super small, very charming action platformer that resembles an old Game Boy game. It's very short. I mean, you're looking around about an hour or 2 at the absolute max, but it took me on a nostalgia trip I wasn't expecting. It's got super simple mechanics. You jump, and then when you double jump, you ink downwards onto the enemies that you find, and you'll be trying to defeat Squit Squat. It's 176 megabytes, and it's going to cost you about the same price as a wham bar. I love all the American. You Americans are like, what the hell is a wham bar? It's amazing, trust me. I'll get you one when you come to the UK. Zyro is actually pretty cool. There's also links in the description to save you 30% if you know already that you want to build a website. It makes it super easy to build your website for any occasion, and in fact I've started using it to make a proper SwitchUp website, which is nice and we really need it. You obviously don't need any coding experience or really any design experience, as it takes a lot of the legwork away from you, as you can simply drag and drop what you need. There are a few other companies that do the same thing, but this is by far the most affordable. Plus we're going to give you a discount code that's going to make it even more affordable. You can manage multiple marketplaces, which means your website can be Facebook, Amazon or Instagram compatible, for example, and there are loads of tools built into it to help you make a better website and create slogans, change the logos. Now, as mentioned at the start, if you use the link and the code in the description, then you're going to get 30% off of their plans, and this has actually been the most affordable way I found of making SwitchUp.com a viable option going forward. Thanks to those guys for sponsoring the video. Do check out those links. Then we've got Journey to the Savage Planet, which has seen one of its largest drops ever. I really enjoyed this game when it launched. The performance wasn't the best, but it's had a couple of minor patches. I still think they could do a tiny bit of work on it, but it's a very fun game and has a really quirky style. What's very cool, and I didn't actually get to try this out at launch, is that you can play through on your own or online with a friend if you've got one, and you'll be cataloguing flora and fauna on the planet, and there are these really quirky adverts that play on your ship. I've said quirky twice now, it's got to be at least twice as quirky as most games. I do like the visual style they've gone for, and if you enjoy the game then you can get the DLC, which is called Hot Garbage. It holds a really high Metacritic from users of 8.8. It's going to take you around about 15 hours to complete, and if you merge something like The Outer World with Void Bastards, you'd get kind of an idea of how this one plays out. It's that first-person adventure exploration that you might find in something like No Man's Sky, but with a more curated feel. This one is 30% off until October the 10th. Next up, we've got the excellent Disgaea 5 Complete. This one's 50% off, taking it down to around about $20, and that sale goes on until October 7th. What is it? Well, it's a strategy RPG, but what's very cool is that they included 8 bonus scenarios. It has 4 fan favorite characters, as well as 3 different character classes that were originally seen in the DLC that was on the PlayStation 4. Another real winning point to this one is that the gameplay is just really satisfying, and there's so much of it. You're looking at around about 100 to 200 hours if you want to do absolutely everything, and it is enjoyable. It has a user rating of 8.4, which is decent, a download size of 6.4 gigs, but if you're after something that's got a touch more depth than perhaps some of the other titles we've looked at so far, but also that quirky humour that the series is known for, then this comes highly recommended. This one doesn't go on for very long, so make sure you're quick if you want to buy it, and it's The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, the complete edition, which is 30% off for the next 20 hours or so. Now, the physical often gets discounted, but the digital doesn't see so many. One thing to note with this is that it's 26 gigabytes, and that's before patches are installed, so it's an absolute beast. But there's so much to do here. I have spent probably 200 hours on the PC version, and then another 50 to 100 on the Switch version. It's a game where you can spend an hour sailing across a lake, go diving, discover some buried treasure, and then help an old lady find her lost frying pan. The main character, Geralt of Rivia, is one of the most interesting that I can think of in a game in recent history. And I can almost promise most players aren't going to be disappointed by this one. What is good is that it has cross-play between PC and Nintendo Switch as well, with cloud saves. And if you're after a massive game, I mean massive, with a giant open world, then just don't look any further really. Ignore the backlog and just dive into this one. Hitting a new all-time low price, we've got Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, which is 55% off until October 22nd. It's an absolutely great game, and one that I kind of held off a few times to picking up, and then finally hit, I believe, when it dropped at its previous low. And it's fantastic. It has that Metroidvania feel, allowing you to unlock new paths and secrets with special equipment that you find, and you'll gradually open up the full world. It's a decent length as well, taking around about 15 to 20 hours to find and do everything, and has an awesome soundtrack as well. Everything's running at 60 FPS, which is delightful, and native in both docked and handheld. They've also added HD Rumble support, which feels decent. Can you help Jin save the Monster World Kingdom? Well, let's find out. Hang on, I'm not allowed to do two of those in one video. That's I think I might have just broken something. What with Hades knocking about and making this developer look like absolute heroes, I feel like I should mention their other titles. We've got Bastion, which is 80% off for the next 20 or so hours, taking it down to $2.99. And if you've picked up Hades and not played their older games, I highly recommend them. You're looking at about 10 to 20 hours of gameplay, and they're action role-playing titles, but they just have a real charm and almost a charisma about them. There are 10 different upgradable weapons that you can collect, as well as the new Game Plus mode that they added and the score attack. If you're someone that doesn't like difficulty, they did add the no sweat mode as well, so there's something for everyone. Very good game, and for me personally, the best aspect is not only the art design, but the incredible narration, and I believe it was the voice actor's first ever narrating job. He absolutely nailed it.
Gods ain't dead. The Calamity gave us something else. A story.
Their other game, Transistor, is also on sale for the same amount of time at the same reduction of 80%. You really should pick both of these up at that price. This time around though, it goes for a slightly different approach. It's still an action RPG, but the combat took on a... I mean, you can almost like pause time, do a few moves and then like restart it. It didn't appeal to everyone, I have to say, but I really enjoyed it. It also takes place in a futuristic city, which looked so cool. Plus, the weapon acts as one of the main characters, so, I mean, that's awesome. And is where the title of the game comes from. As always, the soundtrack's amazing, and the voiceovers and general narration is excellent. You're looking at a download size of 3.1 gigs. It's going to take around about 10 to 15 or 20 hours to complete. And it has that user rating of 8.3, which is a very positive sign. As I say, only 20 hours to pick these ones up. Another game that you guys talked me into buying a while back now is Killer Queen Black, which is at its all-time lowest price. It's 90% off. That's a ludicrous price for such a good game. It's only $2, or your regional equivalent, and this is by far its biggest drop. Anyone that's played it, and I know down in the comments people are going to be saying, Killer Queen Black for $2 is a ridiculous bargain, buy it. And it's amazing. It's a strategic team platformer that has 3 different unique ways of winning. You'll do so through 4-on-4 team combat, but it also has cross-platform multiplayer, which is always good because it means that essentially there's always going to be people playing online. You can play against AI opponents, but really it's all about playing against human beings. I think I just forgot how to say human beings. Man. You can play as the queen, the soldier, or the worker, and there are 5 different character skins, 4 unique weapons. There's a sword, morning star, laser, stinger, and as you should imagine, as I'm sure you should imagine, it takes a lot of time to master each of the different styles, and you can become a really useful team member, or someone that's crap and annoying to have on your team. There is unranked and ranked matches online, as well as custom for challenging your mates, etc. $2, what are you doing? Go and buy it. It's got a download size of 1 gig and an 8.4 user rating. Next up, we've got a game that I loved. It's Hob the Definitive Edition, but at launch, as so many of these games, it just didn't perform that well. It was still a fun game, it just had quite a few performance issues. It's been patched up completely and it runs so much better now. It's currently 30% off, which is its all-time best price of about $14 or your regional equivalent, and that sale goes on until October the 12th. Another interesting thing to note is it's from the same creators that made Torchlight and Torchlight 2, which hopefully you know are amazing games. It's a very mysterious world full of puzzles and interesting characters that you'll meet, but much of your time is spent kind of on your own wandering around. You have this companion-like character that reminded me of Dog from Half-Life 2, if you've ever played that game. There's a load of different puzzles to solve, different powers and abilities to unlock, as well as HD Rumble and touchscreen support on the Nintendo Switch. You're looking at a 5.9 gig download, and it's going to take you around about 10 to 20 hours to complete. I really like this one. It's very much my type of game, and yeah, since it's had those patches, it's well worth picking up. Now, apparently, somewhere in Europe, there's a TV show about Bud Spencer and Terence Hill, but in all honesty, I've never watched it and I don't plan on it, but Bud Spencer and Terence Hill Slaps and Beans is a fantastic game. It's 70% off, taking it down to about $6, which is its all-time lowest price, but we played this way back when, Glen and I, in 2-player couch co-op, and it's a brawler, and it's so much fun. It's absolutely bonkers, completely off the wall, but actually there's quite a lot here that stands it out, that separates it, I should say, from the crowd. There are a few set pieces and strange things that you just don't normally expect in a brawler. There are like mini games that come up, different vehicles, and just a few surprises. It's not the longest, you're looking at around 4 to 5 hours, but it's a beat 'em up. That's kind of half of the course. What I really liked was how varied the stages are, and they're all set on a theme with enemies to boot. And yeah, we just had a good time playing this one. For that price, it's worth it if you're looking for a new beat 'em up and maybe one you haven't played before. I have just seen that Rise Race the Future has gone on sale like just now, and that's 30% off. That's well worth buying. Great racing game, one of my favourites on Switch. And all the 2K games like Borderlands and Bioshock are on a big sale on Amazon, but that's only for the next 12 hours or so. Right, let's look at a couple of games you should avoid, because you've already bought too many terrible games that you regret, and one more might just tip you over the edge. First up, there's Pirates All Aboard. Now, I love pirates. I absolutely love it. Anything to do with pirates is good. Well, that's usually the law, but unfortunately, Pirates All Aboard broke that law. It's one of those games where you play it, and a bit like bacon sandwiches, they take years off of your total lifespan. I'm pretty sure this one cost me a couple of years. It's awful. If for some strange reason you find Pirates All Aboard on your Nintendo Switch, send it back to Nintendo for repair. Then there's the Casebook of Arcadie Smith, which was ticking all my boxes. It's like a murder mystery, almost like Blade Runner, futuristic detective game, but it's so very, very clunky. It's like ultimate clunk, and unfortunately it really hinders it. It's really difficult. Everyone always says, oh, you know, why doesn't everyone make 3D games these days? Pixel art is, in air quotes, lazy, but actually 3D titles, to do them well, it costs a load of money, and it requires usually a larger team of people. And yeah, we've seen it so often when an indie dev tries to do 3D, it ends up just looking, oh, I want to be nice, but it looks painful, doesn't it? It's like every character has a stick shoved somewhere, and yeah, no, unfortunately this one's not great. But having said that, I do really look forward to see what these guys do in the future, because I think they're on the right track. And that just about wraps it up for this week. Go and watch the other sales video. Leave a comment on that one as well to double your chance of winning a free game. All the links will be down in the top pinned comment. And if you want to support the channel, go and check out our sponsor for this video, who are also down in the top pinned comment. Thanks to all of you who watch our stuff, we really do appreciate it. And for our patrons who support us each and every month, you are, as I always say, awesome. For all things Switch, all the time, happy 100k, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys, see ya!